My name is Consuelo Soto Murphy, and I'm a visual artist. I primarily paint watercolors and acrylics, and I'm fluent in everything else. I am a high school art teacher, or was a high school art teacher for the past 35 years. I knew when I was in first grade that I was an artist. My brother was an artist, my younger sister is an artist. The things that I drew, I don't know how I did them. In second grade, I had a wonderful teacher named Mrs. Lindenberg that read a story to us about an octopus and gave us a big piece of paper and told us to illustrate it. And all the kids were drawing little tiny little octopus, and I filled the whole page with a giant octopus that was bright pink with lime twisted tentacles. And then she called me up to the front of the class and she said, "Do you mind if I call you Connie?" My name was Consuelo. I thought it was too long for a little girl, so I said, "Oh yes, please." So she called me Connie and she said, "Class, I want you to look up here and look at Connie's work, and from now on, she is known to you as Connie the artist." And then I was. So don't underestimate the power of teachers' words. I didn't know if I was going to be able to go to college, but I told my mom and dad, I want to go to college. And they said, "Nope, it's not in the cards for you. We don't have the funds for that. And we want you to stay home and get married and start a family." And I don't know how my dad wanted me to stay home and start a family. He never let me date, so I didn't know anybody. Anyway, I was determined, I was bullheaded, and I left to college with my friend Carrie. And the day I left, my dad said, "I don't have any money to give you." And I said, "That's okay." And he gave me 25 or 50 bucks, I don't remember, but he gave me a small amount of money and I left to college. I went to Eastern Washington and I applied for scholarships. I'd never been to college before, nobody in my family had gone. And so I just took all the fun classes. I did jewelry and pottery making and sculpture and weaving and ceramics and watercolor. And that year I got on the dean's list. I met my husband in a new drawing class at Eastern. It was part of a required class. I met him, he was the love of my life. In 2004, my sister had an aneurysm and we went up to visit her in Spokane. She had an aneurysm too, just like my mother had. And I realized life was really short, and so that's when I really started cranking up the paintings. And I just kept painting and painting and painting, and I can't stop. I'm driven. I love art. I love everything about art. I love the colors. I love the expression. My paintings represent the memories I had as a child growing up as a migrant worker. I remember taking mental notes. I remember looking at all the rows. You'll notice that in a lot of my paintings, they have rows and rows and rows. I remember one time my brother and sister and I were sitting on the very top step of the ladder and we were looking up, and I thought it was so wonderful and so beautiful, the landscapes. We were under the canopy of the trees and we were shaded, but every once in a while the cherry would glisten from the sun that was hitting it, and it was just like a jewel, little jewels hanging off the trees. And I would take mental notes of the way each crop had different leaves and different designs in them. And textures were great. A lot of times in my paintings, I don't show the faces because I want them to feel that they're behind the hats. And that's why I paint big old hats on everybody. So when I was about 5 years old, my father taught me how to cut asparagus. And this is a knife he gave me to cut asparagus with. And when I see it, I can see him on our porch sharpening everybody's knives. He was very meticulous and made sure everybody's knives was nice and sharp. And he showed me how to cut it. You have to hold it like this and then go like this to spear the asparagus. And he said, "Go ahead of me, cut the little bundles, put them in the row, and I will come up behind you and pick up the bundles," because I couldn't carry this big bucket. This is the bucket we wore to put the asparagus in. And you carried it. It had a belt, and then these hooks went around. And for a 5-year-old girl, it was too heavy. I mean, I'm short as it is. I'm only 9.5. So, but that's what I learned on. So a lot of times when I have displays, I know when to go up to people and see if they're okay, because I have had a lot of people stop by my paintings and sit there for a long time, and I know that they're crying because they are remembering the times that they spend in the field. And I would go up to them and I touch them on the shoulder and they turn around and they're just covered in tears, and we cry together. Oh, it makes me sad thinking of Just thinking of your family, because they suffered and they sweated and they worked in the cold and worked in the heat, and it was rough, but they were such beautiful times because you saw everybody working together for a common goal. I know how hard it is for the people that are out working to get the vegetables and the fruit on our table, and so I want to honor them. The people that are picking our fruits are so essential and vital to our survival, and they should be celebrated and brought to center stage.